I've got to manage myself, I've got to manage my mind. The task is not easy, but to high heights I climb.
I'm determined to succeed, so no excuses, please. If you don't want success in life, then don't hinder me. Yes, let the whole world know you are a CEO. You are a CEO. I'm a CEO. You are a CEO. I'm a CEO. The time is here to celebrate. You are a CEO. You are a CEO. You are a CEO. You are a CEO. Yes, let the whole world know. The time is here to celebrate. Yes, it's calling, so don't be late. You are a CEO.
Hello everyone, Michael E. Parker, and we are here in studio for another exciting show here at CEO TV. As always, I want to remind you, make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel. As you can see on the screen, we have a YouTube area where you can subscribe and you can just click that notification button. And so I want to make sure you click that bell. It'll always make sure that you get reminders every time we upload a video. Tonight, we are having a special show called The Technology of Success. And when you think about success here at CEO, we are always talking about being successful. We're always talking about removing the limits to success. And to do that, it does take some technology because we want to get people to have access to all the things that they need to take our wonderful content as well as the environment we create through our solutions. And by using technology, we can make it available to everyone, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, tonight we're going to talk about some of the people behind the experiences that you see and that you feel and that you get in our apps, in our video experiences, in shows like tonight. And it's all now up to us to find out more about the people that are sometimes in hiding. But today, we're going to bring them out front. And so I'm going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to jump right in. I'm going to introduce you to some of the URCO team and a lot of the ones that are responsible for the experience you're having right now. We'll be right back. Hello everyone, Michael E. Parker, and I am here in studio with some giants of URCO. This is Nick Vieira and DeAndre Thompson. Listen, it's so great to have y'all on the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Now, those of y'all that don't know, these are two people that's always behind the scenes helping me put together these wonderful shows every week. And whether it's the camera or the different shots that you see or even some of the commercials you see, you're going to get to know two fine people here. So I've been waiting for so long to get y'all on this side of the camera. So first of all, y'all can see how I feel when y'all telling me the stuff I need to do. But I just feel, this feels great. How do you feel right now?
It's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I go with it.
You go?
Yeah, I go with it.
Okay. How are you feeling, DeAndre?
Hopeful.
Hopeful? Okay. Right. There's hope because I think we're going to work together and put together a good segment here. But in all seriousness, I really want to thank you both for the work that you do. You all make it look so easy. Whether it's here in the studio or at our events, your expertise is very, very valuable. And
Thank you.
When we think about just the kind of techie side of things, I'll start with you, Nick. You've been in technology and doing things with media production since you was a little kid. I mean, I remember you growing up. We've known each other a long time, and you've always loved technology. Where did that come from?
Man, I really don't know. I heard when I was young, I used to unhook the TV and VCR, you know, from when I was real little. I used to, go in the garage, hook up old stereos. I guess I just got a lot of pleasure out of seeing things work. So, you know, there's always something on my mind. Whenever I see something, my first thought is, how does that work?
So would you actually like break stuff down and put it back together, or just kind of explore how it was all connected?
Explore how it was connected, and when I was young, I took things apart more than I put back together. That didn't come till a little later on in life. Right. But I always enjoyed it. I like to see how things worked.
So was it more, I mean, I've seen you on the side of, you know, computers and hardware and, you know, a lot of things to do with that. And then there's like media production, video cameras, you know, cables, hard wiring and facilities. I mean, but where do you feel your passion within the passion is? Is there any part that you love more than others?
No, I think there's equal parts of both of them that fulfill a need or a satisfaction that I get, which is kind of, and most people know me, I love to troubleshoot, and that's in anything. I mean, it could be in social things and family and, you know, in anything in life. Like I said, because I like to know how things work, I like to explore why they don't work, and then I get a lot of satisfaction in seeing a solution to it. Whether it's me solving it or somebody else, I just like to see things in working order. Yeah, very well said. I like that too, because there's a lot of problems sometimes I need you to solve. So keep that spirit. I love working
that.
On that.
Absolutely. Now, DeAndre, I want to shift over to you for a minute. Now, you are someone that, I mean, I love to see what you do. I mean, I've seen you create characters, animations, graphics, some of the applications we've built. You've literally created things from your imagination and then brought them to life. Where did this come from? I mean, where does this type of stuff come from? When did you start thinking in this way where you wanted to even use your artistry in a technical way like this? Where did this start?
Well, I definitely grew up in the 80s. So I'm a child of the television. Right. Sat in front of the television for hours. I'd have to say I've always been fascinated with characters. That whole world, I remember my earliest thought of, I was sitting there watching DuckTales.
Really?
And
I remember that. Right, you know, I knew about that, didn't you? That's right, I was ready for that.
So I remember watching it, but then I was coloring at the same time, and I was trying to get my crayon to be just as black as Scrooge McDuck's hat. And not knowing that, you know, of course they use different types of paints and whatnot for that animation, but that curiosity was always there. And having that curiosity, I grew older, and because I didn't have anybody, or that I didn't know anybody in that environment, it didn't seem like it was a reality for me. So, but I did have people in my life that, you know, they came through, they saw what I can do, and I remember one person came to me and was like, you know, they just came out with that movie, Toy Story. They was like, why aren't you doing something like that? So after thinking about it and definitely doing my research, I researched some schools, and doors just started opening, and I feel very fortunate that things happened for me that way. And once I went to school, I was very intimidated. The students that I went to were very technically inclined, where I wasn't, but where I excelled was my imagination. And once the know-how, once I got the knowledge of how to do the different technical things, my imagination fused with that, I just started skyrocketing after that.
Wow.
So I started excelling in a lot of different areas that made people recognize what I was doing. And it put confidence in me that I can do this. Like, this is something that I can pursue as a career. And I'm definitely blessed that I was able to come here and practice that here. But yeah, I feel like it started at an early age, and it was able over time to just blossom into where I'm at now.
And you know what's so fascinating about it is that, you know, no matter your technical skill, you have to have an imagination. You know, someone imagined a lot of the things that we see today. And what's so amazing is that when you get a vehicle that can bring an imagination to life, it's just, you know, the tools we have today to do that is so amazing. Now, when I think about both of you, I've got like the problem solver, and I've got the imagination here. And I've seen both of you cross over. Like, sometimes you help with media production stuff, and, you know, a lot of times you're behind the camera doing things too. And then I've seen you do videos and have to imagine and try to be creative. So do you feel that sometimes that when you're doing things that is a little bit out of your comfort zone, but it still is related, that it causes you to grow more? I mean, how do you feel about that?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's it definitely causes you to exercise, you know, and that's the only way to grow is exercising in whatever you're doing. So, and I even had when you're managing something, I had a manager once tell me, he said, the best way to be a successful manager is surround yourself with people who know what they're doing and let them do it.
Yeah, that's good.
And so, so people like DeAndre, I know my weakness when it comes to creativity or artistic stuff. I mean, I'm creative in different ways, but just like he's able to be technical in different ways. But when you have somebody who can, you can surround yourself with people like that have those areas that are strengths that you don't have. Well, that causes me to grow a lot more when I have to do it, you know. And he kind of imparts that to me. I see his thought process or his approach, and I use those same things because they're areas I'm not as good in.
And actually glean from someone who's strong in that area. I really like what you said. That was very powerful. And DeAndre, what do you say about that? Because sometimes I know you find yourself behind the camera or doing something technical, and you could be somewhere else creating a character, but you have to adapt. How do you handle that?
I remember hearing you say one time that we have to be like water. And I really like that because there's situations where you have your expertise and you have your strength, but right now we may not need that. We may need you to do something else. And you want to be flexible. And even in the field of filmmaking, you want to make sure that you're not stuck in just what you do. Because there may be a need for you to move on to something else. And I feel like my working relationship with Nick is just perfect because, like Nick said, he's very technical, you know, but what I can do is once he sees the direction I'm going with my creativity, that sparks his creativity, and we can collaborate, you know. And then on top of that, Nick has so much knowledge on cameras and everything else, things that I will need to be creative. And Nick has that, so I lean on him to help me. And once I know what something can do, then I can fly from there.
And I love what y'all are saying because this is the culture we have at URCO, and I love that culture doesn't end when we get technical or when we get graphical or animations. That all of us as a team, we could be talking about many other areas of our business, but I love that in this arena, you all have the same energy and spirit that the whole team does. And that's why I'm so grateful to have you on this team. You make us so much stronger. And so we're gonna go to rapid fire right now. And rapid fire is, I wanna talk about some things. We don't have as much time because I want to spend some time getting to know you all. People don't get to hear these stories. And so this was very powerful. But I wanna pull up the presentation I have here for a minute. And when you think about the video production and when you all are behind the camera and with it's 5, 3, 2, 1 action and we're on and you're trying to keep all this organized, and when we've got big pieces of equipment and you're trying to control what shots are where, or even we're doing a live event and you're trying to make sure that people that are on Facebook see stuff and YouTube see stuff. What is that like? Let's just talk about that for a minute, but what is that like? And I'll throw this a lot at you, Nick, because I know you're really a big backbone to that operation, but how do you handle all of that? And what are some things you keep in mind every day that we work?
It's a whole lot of pressure, but it's ways to mitigate that. And I think just from a technical standpoint, my technical background, whether it be IT or media production, it's kind of all the same, right? When I'm in a situation, I try to approach it with as much carefulness as possible. I think about it. I try to get my mind prepared to be in it. So that way I'm kind of calculating risks and calculating what could go wrong, what might go wrong, what's likely to go wrong. So that way I'm already thinking of solutions and what would I do about it. So when it happens, I don't have to, get nervous and think. I just respond. And I try to take that approach to it. Really is just constantly looking at everything, and those around me know I'm always looking around at everything. I'm knowing where tools at. I know where extra cables at. I'll bring extra little stuff that I might not need.
Yes, you will. I've seen your truck too.
I always got one in my truck.
But one thing I'll say about you is that you have been through so much that you're careful to say something is solved before it is actually solved. So that's why you're famous around the company. If someone asks you something, you just say, because it's all relative. It all depends. Is that because you've seen things that you thought was okay not be okay?
All the time.
I see.
All the time. And And that's, to me, like I said, I like for things to be solved. I like for things to work.
Right.
So I'm careful because I like for things to be real. I want, when I tell somebody that something's done,
Right.
I want them to know that it's done.
Yeah.
So I try to be real cautious about giving guarantees.
Yeah.
Because in our world, in the technical world, there's very little.
Right.
I could just say this should work like this, and I've done everything I can do to make sure it does.
Right. Almost the only thing we can guarantee is there are going to be new problems to solve, right?
Absolutely.
And so now let me switch gears back to my rapid fire here. Now let me pull my presentation back up. Now this is just an image of one of the video graphics where this UR is flying through the air, or you see your close-up 3D, 4D, I don't know what I'm looking at here, but DeAndre, you help to just imagine these things and bring them to life. So a lot of our commercials, our video work is so impactful, and we add some music to that and get the right storyline, and it is amazing. How do you envision these types of things that you do? How do you do it?
Well, your CEO already has the message. So my job is to give that message visuals. So there's definitely some work going into it because at first you don't really know what you want to do. But I would say it's always good to see what other people are doing, to see the things that are grabbing people's attention, what's popular nowadays. You definitely want to stay in the now, you know, when you're
Right.
dealing with that area.
Sure.
But yeah.
So then once you get that envision, you kind of benchmark, you see things that are out there, and all of those can be influences, but then do you ultimately start to feel like that's it, that's what I'm gonna do, and then you start focusing on bringing it to pass? Because it's almost like you're trying to figure out how you're gonna do it, then all at once, does it hit you at some point, like, that's what we need to do?
Definitely. It's like drawing out a sketch. Like you're gonna come out with a lot of different things that don't work, but then somewhere in that path, something will work. Like something will start to look right. And you're like, well, I can do something with that. And then you start massaging that idea, and then you start moving in that vein. Next you know, you got your masterpiece.
That's right. Listen, you pat your own back. That's right. Some masterpiece has been built around this place. I really appreciate that. This has been so fun. I hate to end this segment, and I want y'all to know this is going to happen again. So just be prepared.
Absolutely.
The people want to hear from you all more, but this has been a great segment. You share so much insight, and there's so much we can talk about technically, graphically, but it's deeper than that. I want to really think about, how you think, how you work through these things. And I really appreciate that you're all on this team helping me get this vision to others. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with another powerful segment. You're going to get to know another side of our team and go deeper and deeper into the technology of success. We'll be right back. Hello everyone, Michael E. Parker, and I am back on set. We're still talking about the technology of success, and I've got some wonderful leaders, and you are still here. I got Marcus Smith, and I got Charlene Caruso. Listen, how do y'all feel today to be on the show?
Feels excellent. Tired of being behind the scenes.
That's right, that's
Tired of
right.
being behind the
That's
scenes.
right. How do you feel, Char?
I feel great, but nervous.
Nervous, don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now listen, Marcus has been just a technology mind behind all the technology we do, from our developers to all the things we're doing that help to get wonderful products to you. Charlene has been deep into our products and applications, working on design, user experience, working with our developers as well. I can't say enough about you two and how we couldn't be able to accomplish what we've accomplished without you. So first, just thank you. So can I get, do y'all feel my love?
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate you, I really do. Because there's a lot of money that you all have been responsible for that we have to spend, but it's good things that come out of it. But let me say this. First with you, Marcus, I I don't know how it happened that you got so involved in technology. I remember when I first got to know you, you were, tinkering with things, creating things, but how do you feel it came about that you ended up this deep into technology? I mean, code, developers, different languages. Tell me a little bit about that journey.
Well, I know the storyline, it always starts, and that's why it's good to be in front of the camera, because it's good to kind of talk about that a little bit. I know normally I don't get a chance to tell people the storyline, and it all starts, I know it's two kind of stories here, but your story, being in Japan, first generation lean expert, being trained, then coming back to the United States and implementing lean in service industries, and then me just 10 plus years being out here, being in that environment where, the startup grind, the meetups, and all of the Google Hangouts are happening, and learning the technology, and kind of just going through that, it kind of showed that there's been a convergence in technology. And then with you being a consultant in I started working with you and being a consultant in these Fortune 500 companies, doing technical solutions as well, it kind of just moved into this area. And that's why I like to tell people that story. I like to say thank you, because what you've learned, it totally matches what you're seeing in the tech industry. So as they're trying to bring things together, it's all about automation. It's all about, again, how do they do the cost reduction model?
Right.
And you have all that ingrained in your foundation. So us being into this startup environment out here is just concomitant of us actually seeing that serial entrepreneurship start, and then also just that bootstrapping. And that's what we've been doing. And I think that is how I got into the technology, but you inspired me a lot of the ways.
Well, thank you. I mean, you're trying to throw it back at me. This is about you here. Don't try to interview me now, but I do thank you for what you're saying, though, because I do think you've been on this journey, by my side, and I've seen you go in there and help me to try to solve problems that I'm trying to figure out as we kind of become agile and we see lean coming into technology. And I love what you said about convergence. And so I feel like, I'm gonna swing this over to you, Charlene, is that your background and your career, you've touched on many different things. I mean, you've been in real estate, everything, right? I've seen you just do many things, and to watch you come through the company and take on many different challenges and then end up in design and development in those areas. How has that journey been for you? Because the discussion that me and Marcus is having, it's ironic that we're sitting like this, because a lot of times you were sandwiched between us trying to figure stuff out. And so how has that journey been for you?
Well, I definitely appreciated what Marcus mentioned too, and I was listening to him and was just kind of thinking about myself, this little 19, 20-year-old girl with zero direction. Working at Enzo Angelini's shoe store. But to kind of see the progression, not even realizing that coming into real estate, I would be able to have this opportunity to learn what I've learned. I feel everything I've ever gained has been from working with this company, starting from real estate and financial, working at Javant Salon and Barbering, learning about the hair industry and all that.
How long have you been here now?
2003, summer,
Wow.
August of 2003.
17 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that loyalty within our team. We've been
Yeah.
together so long.
Yeah, and what what we've been learning from each other, we're just growing and growing and growing, and we all have knowledge, and I pull so much from Marcus. Is like a genius.
Yeah.
It's like a sponge genius. I think everyone in the company, even to Nick and DeAndre, we're like a sponge to everyone because there's so much knowledge and expertise that everyone carries.
Right.
And I think, like Marcus mentioned, just coming from yourself and your background, you always want people to be better, to grow, and to collaborate and work together, because you grow and you get more and you reach more success together.
Yeah.
And seeing each other's strengths and weaknesses, like DeAndre and Nick said, you just can it creates this great engine, so to speak. So I kind of enjoyed
Very
that.
well said. Very well said. I really appreciate what you said, Sharon. Thank you for sharing that angle of it too. And I want to borrow from both of you now and kind of get into some specific technologies. Now let's pull up. This is our URCO app, and I know our URCO app. I love that we have an app for URCO where everyone can come together. But let's talk a little bit about technology and experience and what we're trying to deliver here. And maybe starting with you, Marcus, what are some things that you think about when you think about this particular app? You've been with it from the ground level with all of our developers, but what's some things that stand out to you about it?
I'll probably say in that last event when you kind of showed all of the C-suite members that you have, you talked about marketing and how that applies to you as an individual. You talked about, other areas, finance, how do you handle your money?
Yeah.
But I also thought a lot about the technology. So even to be successful today, you have to adapt to technology. And what we're trying to do is kind of bring everything into their pocket. Everything has to be pocket sized. If you can put success in your pocket, that's great. If you can put life coaching in your pocket. And I think this app helps them with that on the URCO side. I know you talked about the environment, but now you can fit whole worlds inside of your pocket. And I think it's just as important to have access to that information. So I think creating that environment is all built into this app and it's baked in, but it's also a part, again, I talked about how technology has been revolutionized in different industries. You got the education industry, you got even the transportation industry with Uber, but now you have the self-help, even the self-improvement, learning industry, even the coaching industry. All that is going to become the next revolution. I think this app is going to be on the forefront.
And that app can kind of bring all of that together. And I think, Shar, I know you're always concerned about, is it easy? Is it fun? Is it quick? What are some things you think about when you think about the URCO app and what it is and where it's headed?
I definitely agree with what Marcus mentioned too. I think with where technology is going, people want to know, they want to understand, they want to learn, they want it quick, they want it real time, and they want it on the go. And so I think our app allows people to learn and be educated and find a new way to grow and excel, and our app does that. And it's easy, it's pretty, it's, we always like look and feel.
Yeah.
We want it to feel beautiful, you want it to work good, you want it to be fun and engaging, and it has the content, which, everyone wants, but you want it to be the least path of resistance to get what you want.
Right. Right. And don't you all feel, how excited are you that we've been finally able to change the navigation, make it easier to get around? Because Shar, before we had a left-hand navigation, kind of a list, kind of a website type of feel, but how excited are you that we've been able to make that easier now?
Extremely excited. So with technology and with any industry, you're always improving. The minute you feel like you've made it, okay, you've lost.
Right.
So you always have to grow and improve and make things better. And this is just one step that, that we're headed towards. And so I love it. I mean, I think that news feed right there on the home feed is going to really be impactful. And I think that people are going to want to engage in that.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that we're doing. I don't want to tell it all, but
that's right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited.
No, I am too. And let's switch gears over to Uplift for a minute. And Marcus, this particular application has, you talk about converging technologies. There's a lot that has went into this. We've had to tear it down, build it back up, tear it down, make it simple, complicated, all of this. Talk a little bit about the infrastructure and the things that we went through to give the type of experience that is Uplift.
Well, we know that as social media began to grow and apps and communities grow online, they have to be elastic. So I know when we first started, the years of all the collective wisdom that you kind of curated inside, whether it's video or different posts, different trainings, assessment that you put in this technology, we had to make it where it can go through that same phenomena of growing. And I think we went, again, the last 5 years, people didn't build apps to scale to 10 million, 1 million people even.
Right.
So you're seeing now you have to build it so that it's scalable.
Right.
And I know that we have, that's where a lot of the I guess, our own journey of going through our think, feel, act process, where we actually learned about our fears and even building it. We became the product as well as we're building the product.
Right.
So as we're building it, we're making sure that it's scalable and it's there for everyone. So we had to go through that monolithic app phase, and now we're really making it nimble with a lot of service-oriented parts of the app. So if you want to share something, that has its own backend, and that's one thing that I know that we definitely talk about a lot is how do we get Uplift to spread.
Right.
I like this book called How Does a Good Idea Spread? I think a guy named Alex Penton had made it. He talks about all the social phenomena, how stuff become viral and all that online. he does the Google Talks and stuff about that. But in the back of our mind is how do we use that for how does upliftment spread? And I think as you begin to use the app, you want to see that there's things that you can do in the app that not only impact yourself, because there's a collective community of upliftment, but there's also the collective wisdom of you actually contributing and seeing that natural behavior happen. So I think that's great.
Very well said. And even when you talked about monolithic and versus like the services type of smaller nimbleness, we went through an adjustment because we want things to be fast, quick, shareable, and scalable. And so now when you get more to the front end of this and you think about the experience, Shar, I mean, all the gamification that we've put into this, the pop-ups, the different things that help to enhance we're trying to anchor behavior through some of the things that they're experiencing. Talk a little bit about some of the things we went through with that. I mean, there's been so much design work and planning to create an experience where people are getting that emotional boost throughout their journey with Uplift.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, we want people to have, I know we talk about endorphins, you're working out, there's a feeling of accomplishment, a release. And so we really wanted the gamification to kind of bring what everyone is achieving and learning to life, and they felt good about it. And not like you mentioned, Marcus, that you only felt good about it, but that other people felt good about it, because our app really is a very strong community of people that are like-minded and are trying to reach their different goals in their lives. And so to make it interactive, you have an uplift score, so you have something that you're constantly gaining. You have weekly medals, and all of this, I mean, there's a weekly as a daily and a weekly snapshot. All of this is to kind of help you feel this community and engagement, and you feel inspired, like, oh, okay, so the things I'm achieving, I actually it's turning into a value, so to speak. Right. And so I think it's really exciting what our app is doing. You feel good, even if you go on and you're just kind of, you know, scrolling through. It's your mind is changing, and you don't even realize it, or you like something, you know, you're complimenting something, or you're high-fiving it, and you're getting some sort of reward, and there's a reward cue and kind of the, you know, things that you learn about in psychology, but there is an actual science to our apps. There's a science that has been proven, and that it's not just like we put something together. There were months and months and months and years of brainstorming and collaborating with a lot of our team to achieve that. So I'm really happy with where we've arrived with Uplift. Absolutely.
Very well said, Shar. I appreciate that. And I think too, just, you know, briefly, when you think about the gamification and the things that's been done, that it's important for people to know that when you're using Uplift, something is happening to you. And even when you talked about the Uplift score, we needed a currency for Uplift. Like, how do you track how uplifted I am or how uplifted I've been even in the past? But we've created a new currency.
It's a new currency. Uplift score, you gotta have one. If you don't, get one.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of Uplift, well, before we go out close this segment, I gotta celebrate this new feature that y'all been working on together. And I love this. This is Marcus and his beautiful wife out by the water. Kind of hard to see, but here's the share button you see circled in the red. And when you click on that, it brings up an area where you can choose different sites you want to share to, and all of this has tracking in it. So here, his post came up on Facebook with a little clip that you can click. When you click on that, then it takes you to allow me to consume the content, so I can watch the video where you all are out talking and the beautiful scenery. But if I touch anything, it instantly tells me that, hey, if you enjoyed this, you need to create your account, and then allows me to actually go and create that account. I just want to, I'm just so happy that you all got this done, because this is a way for us to get this out to more people. And we got to get people post on Facebook and here and there and Uplift, but now we can make Uplift our centerpiece and share from Uplift to the world so we can draw them back in. And we're not telling people to throw Facebook away. You know, we're on Facebook right now, but we're saying every now and then we all need to get away and get to a place like Uplift. So I just want to thank you all for your contribution and what you do every day for the team. Is there any final thoughts y'all want to leave to everyone before we go?
No, I think that was a great example of when you do that, you also can see on the back end your uplift score raise. And there is a phenomenon, not just helping yourself, but helping others. So even when I sent that out, I can see people on Facebook, when they look at it, they may comment on it, and they may like or they may high five it when they go into the app. And then some of them may even go into the app and sign up. But me as an individual in Uplift, I'm seeing that, and I'm not just getting rewarded for me posting the post, but I'm getting rewarded for you and your experience.
And knowing what you did for me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So I think that's something that is great.
And that's why we're also a part of the product. We're not just trying to get it to people, we use it. Anything you want to say?
No, I just thought that was really great what you shared. And, you know, this is an app where you actually becomes a lifestyle. It's a different way of thinking, of feeling. And I just feel like we have to share it. We have to tell others how great it is. And so I just think getting in there, using it and sharing it, and we'll all start to see the social impact it's gonna have on the whole world.
Yeah, I love that, social impact. We're gonna leave it right there. This is about an impact that we're trying to make on the world, so we always let everyone know that if you're not in URCL and if you're not using solutions like you heard in this segment, you need to be using it, because who doesn't need to be more uplifted? Who doesn't need to have a higher success IQ? And these are some of the people behind it. So thank you all so much. I'm gonna take a short break. I'll be back to close out the show and tell you about the next exciting show and a few more announcements that you need to remember. We'll be right back. Hello everyone, Michael E. Parker again in studio, and I hope you enjoyed this show as much as I did. It was so refreshing to bring some of the people from behind the scenes and show you their personalities and their journey and what they do every day. And the things that you experience in URCL, they don't just happen. There's some good, powerful, strong, unifying people behind it that work together every day, living URCL and not just talking about it. Now, having said that, I want to remind you of this. As you can see on the screen here, there are 2 apps. If you don't have them, if you are new, you need to download them. They are free. There is no excuse. Download these 2 apps, the URCL app for your learning and Uplift for the environment of success that you need to stay uplifted. Now, remember, these are 2 doors that you can go in, but right now you go to urcl.com to set up your account, get your key, and then you can download those apps and log in with that same username and password, so make sure you do that. Another thing I want to remind you is we still are in the CEO of My Success Tour. It's still 2020. We're still making it happen. We still want you to support where we're going in this journey of being the CEO of My Success. Also, remember, our next event in California, we're going to Cal State University East Bay on May 30th. Make sure you do not miss that event. It's going to be powerful. We're going to build on what we did in California already. You do not want to miss it. Now, having said all of that, I want to tell you also about our next show. Our next show is called Not Today, Fighting Bad Habits. Now, I want you to think about this, because we all got some habits we need to get rid of, and there's something we need to be able to say that not today, I'm going to make a change so I can have a better tomorrow. You don't want to miss this show. We're going to dig deep, and it's going to help us all. Until now and then, get out there and let the whole world know that you are a CEO.